On this episode of Mythbusters,
That is just crazy.
Adam and Jamie test the myth that falling bullets can kill.
Please don't fire bullets into my head.
Take cover as they spray the skies with ammo to find out.
I'm searching across the desert for a pencil-sized hole.
And sit back and unwind as the team takes the top off some more vodka myths.
Let's all group hug.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage. Jamie Heineman.
Aren't tracer rounds illegal?
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That's what I'm talking about.
Joining them, Tori Balachi,
Science is fun.
Carrie Byron,
Guess what I did today?
and Grant Imahara.
You guys ready for this?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
What do we got?
This one's another one of those myths that everybody's heard of, and that is that if you fire a gun straight up in the air, that the bullet, after it's done its thing and gone all the way up there, is going to come down with lethal velocity. If it hits you, it'll kill you.
This is the kind of thing that happens on the 4th of July or some type of celebration. Someone pulls out their gun to add to the festivities, and the bullets rain down on society, and innocent bystanders thinning the herd.
That's it.
They're talking about when celebrations really go off with a bang. When revelers get fired up and start firing up. They think it's harmless fun, but are they right? Or when the bullets come down, are they still deadly? To find out, they'll start with some in-shop simulations. First, they'll clock the terminal velocity of a falling bullet. Then they'll figure a way to fire bullets at terminal velocity to see what damage they do. And finally, they'll fire real bullets straight up to see what falling bullets do for real. So, step one, to find out how fast a bullet falls, they want to know how high one goes.
The question is, what height will a bullet go to when you fire it into the air? And to answer the question, what we were thinking was to correlate the density of ballistics gel with the density of air.
Huh.
Jamie doesn't seem entirely convinced, but Adam's adamant. So he plows on alone. He knows that 1 cubic centimeter of air weighs 1.2 milligrams. But what about ballistics gel?
Look at that. That is so beautiful.
At 1 gram, ballistics gel is 650 times more dense than air.
So by my theory, if I'm correct, if we fire a bullet into ballistics gel and it goes 1 foot, then it would go 650 feet in air.
Knowing that bullets travel a lot further than that, Adam mixes up a record-breaking batch of ballistics gel. An 800-pound batch, to be precise.
This is by far the most ballistics gel we've ever cast in a single lot at one time.
Let's hope he's got this right.
I don't know if we're going to end up using them all. I hope that we're going to end up using them all because I would have hated to have cast this up in vain.
Next morning, the guys decamp to the police firing range, along with a half a ton of ballistics gelatin, which they arrange into a 16-foot-long block. After mixing up all this lot, Adam set his sights on some gun fun.
Hey, given that you're always shooting, you mind if I take these shots?
Firearms instructor Sergeant Al Normandy is on hand to keep an eye on the experiment. First up, a 9mm pistol.
Magazine's out, slides locked back, we're safe. Go ahead and proceed forward. Let's take a look at it.
Look at this, it's beautiful.
The slug made it all the way to the 3rd block.
Look at that, there it is, 5 feet in.
According to Adam's theory, that's equivalent to 3,250 feet in air. Now for the 30-06, some serious firepower.
What the hell happened to that? Dude!
I think it got stopped in the first block.
I don't think it moved outside the first block. But, I mean, Shouldn't it go farther than the 9mm round?
It's a little counterintuitive, but actually because of the speed of the bullet has a tendency to break up, more so than the pistol round, which is technically a very low velocity projectile.
They've been here before. In a previous episode, Adam and Jamie discovered that high-velocity bullets break up when fired into water. And because ballistics gel is 90% water, exactly the same thing happens.
Well, there's your problem.
With the experiment dead in the water, Jamie applies the coup de grace.
Oh, that is just crazy.
Crazy, but in terms of how high a rifle bullet goes, totally useless. Myth 1, Mythbusters 0. Around the world, millions of gallons of vodka are consumed every year. Most people choose to drink it, but the Mythbusters have been testing it for other uses. As a bee killer, it was busted.
That's terrible. They're drunk.
As a mouthwash for Adam, it defied all odds.
Not that bad.
It even removed the cheese from Adam's feet. And it rose to the occasion by freshening up the smell of a chain-smoking jacket.
So this is the better smelling one, right?
And it's the one that we sprayed vodka on.
And if it's gonna help it, just pour it on there.
First up, can vodka combat poison oak?
Well, we've grabbed our passports and crossed the Golden Gate Bridge, the home of our sound recordist, who lives on the frontier of West Marin. And our search is for poison oak. Why poison oak? It's another vodka-related myth. Apparently, if you pour vodka over an area that's been affected by poison oak, it will remove the urushiol oil and prevent you from developing a rash.
Tori's drawn the short straw.
Ironic, isn't it, that I'm protecting myself from poison oak just so that I can rub it on my arm later.
Well, you don't want it everywhere.
Looking more like Ghostbusters than Mythbusters, Tori prepares to take one for the team.
This?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
see how it glistens with poison?
Get the scissors.
You guys sure that's poison oak, right?
Yeah, it's got the 3 leaves. It's that beautiful dark green color.
Carrie's ruled out of this rash myth as she's been dangerously allergic to poison oak since childhood.
What are you trying to do, get enough to make a salad?
Oh.
According to some, chewing poison oak protects against its effects. Others say it will make you very, very sick. So, what's the toxic ingredient?
And what makes them painful is the urushiol oil, and that's the active ingredient that causes an allergy in 90% of people.
Remember that figure, 90%.
And the most common side effect is a rash, but some people have such a severe reaction that they have to be hospitalized.
No problem. Tori's health insurance is paid up. And in any case, vodka may just work.
This is going against everything I've ever been taught as a kid. It's like boggles my mind.
His arm is divided into 3 sections, and the poison oak is applied.
Oh. It's okay. It's not like you've never had a rash before.
That's right, that was that time that you and I were hanging out, and you gave it.
Okay, so
In section 1, they use an orthodox remedy, a commercial balm.
rub it in. It cleanses and decontaminates skin by removing the invisible oils.
Now for the vodka, which they pour over a separate section of skin. The middle section is left untreated as the control.
Well, I hope you don't have a date tonight because you're showing up smelling like liquor. Poison oak on your arm.
That works every time. Okay, now I guess we just wait and see what happens. Let's all group hug.
Ah!
Yeah. No? Okay.
Let the games begin. In the myth that bullets fired up can kill, Adam and Jamie have been trying to find out how high a bullet can go.
Oh, that is just crazy.
Their first experiment drew a blank, so it's back to the drawing board.
Well, that was a good waste of time. I mean, we didn't really get any useful data at all from firing a bullet into the ballistics gel.
No.
I mean, The faster the bullet, the more the gel resisted, just like water.
Well, we might have busted out experimentally, but there are computer simulation programs that can give us the figures on a vertically discharged bullet. And here's what we got. A 30-06 bullet will reach a maximum height of 10,000 feet and take 58 seconds to make its round trip. A 9mm bullet will reach a maximum height of 4,000 feet and take 37 seconds to make its round trip.
Well, that's certainly high enough for it to reach its terminal velocity on the way down on both bullets. So all we need to do is find out what that is.
Terminal velocity is the maximum speed at which an object can fall through the air. It's reached when the force of gravity is matched by the force of wind resistance, at which point the object can't go any faster. To find the terminal velocity of a bullet, Adam builds an acrylic wind tunnel. He fires a high-speed jet of air from below and inserts a wind speed meter at the top. Everything's set.
The way this wind tunnel measures the terminal velocity of a bullet is when I put a bullet into this tube and I get it to a point at which it's stable and it floats in the tube, I know that that is this. I'm equaling the bullet's weight and mass with the air pressure below it, and that speed that I get on my wind speed indicator is exactly the speed at which this bullet will fall if it's falling through the air.
First up, a 9mm bullet. It takes some adjustment to find the right wind speed, but Adam soon dials it in, and he's in business.
Look at that! It was pretty consistent. I see on the wind speed indicator I've got here, it's just almost exactly 100 miles an hour. That's how fast this thing would be heading towards you if it fell from the sky. So now I got to do the other bullet.
This is a 30-06 bullet. Longer, but close to the similar weight. Look at that!
This wind tunnel demonstrates absolutely that the terminal velocity of both the 9mm and the 30-06 is just about 100 miles per hour. Now, this wind tunnel also demonstrates really clearly that their most stable way of falling is on their side. And that's their stable speed. That's the speed they're going to hit you at.
100 miles per hour is about 150 feet per second. That sounds pretty quick. But is it quick enough to kill?
Now that I've determined that, next up is to build a device that will fire these at exactly 150 feet per second, fire them into some human head analog, and see if they're in fact lethal at those speeds.
Human head analog. On this show, that only means one thing.
Jamie.
Yeah?
Please don't fire bullets into my head.
It's only got one ear, though.
We don't need ears for testing the lethality of bullets at terminal velocity, man.
A pig's cranium is harder than a human's, but it's close enough. Wow. And don't worry, as always on the show, Adam and Jamie got these at the slaughterhouse. Now, they need a way of firing bullets at just 150 feet per second. So Adam takes some aluminum piping, a high-pressure air hose, and a 9mm bullet. Simple, but dangerous. So don't try this at home.
I think you might have put a dent in your door. That would have hurt.
In fact, I wouldn't want to get hit in the head with that. I know that. I mean, that could potentially do you harm.
Sounds encouraging, so Adam goes into production. He makes 2 high-pressure pea shooters, one each for the 9mm and 30 caliber bullets. Both consist of an aluminum barrel with a solenoid valve plumbed into one end. He'll fire through a chronograph, which measures in feet per second, so he can tune the velocity until it matches a falling bullet. Once again, Sergeant Normandy's there to lend a hand. First up, the 9mm bullet at 120 psi.
The gun is loaded, prepare to fire.
74 feet per second. I think we might be in trouble.
That's only half the required velocity. But for once, a policeman is there when you need one.
Do you think you have adequate seal on the pneumatics there?
Oh, you mean if I taped it up, I might get that much more?
Might get a little bit more improvement just from making sure that nothing's escaping.
To ensure a snug slug, Adam tapes the bullet and the breech for round 2.
Ready?
Prepare to fire.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 140. Actually, I was looking for exactly 146. That's amazing. Perfect. Okay, 9mm is dialed in perfectly.
Next up, the .30 caliber bullet. And with Adam dialed in, it too is soon hitting its terminal velocity target.
151.
151.
One of my favorite numbers.
Dead on the money.
Now, with a little help from the pigs, he should soon know if bullets fall fast enough to butcher. Back at the myth that vodka can relieve a poison oak reaction, Tori's looking alarmingly healthy.
13 days ago, I put poison oak on my arm, but apparently I don't get it anymore. I mean, I got it when I was a kid, but I don't get it anymore. So I need your arm. I need somebody, you know, a weaker individual, or not individual, but...
While Tori gloves up, Adam freaks out. But he needn't have worried. Turns out he too is one of the 10% who are immune to poison oak.
So, poison oak. I did the test a week ago, and it seems that the myth now isn't about poison oak and vodka as a topical treatment. It's about whether or not a mythbuster can actually get poison oak. So now it's your turn.
Oh, it's cold.
And what do you know?
Tori tried it.
Yeah.
Adam tried it.
Yeah.
And now 2 weeks later, I have no rash.
But you were allergic.
They've tested the leaves at a lab, and it really is poison oak. Seems like Mythbusters is hosted by mutants. So how about the crew?
We have got to get a result on this one. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we're going to have to test it on 3 people this time. Hopefully, one of them might possibly be allergic to poison oak.
Press ganged into compliance, they offer themselves up for science. With this myth on the line, it's rash up or flunk out.
It's been 24 hours, you guys. What do you got?
Nothing.
Flunked.
Not enough to call anything at this point.
Flunked.
Hey!
And straight A's for John the researcher.
That is definitely poison oak.
I'm glad you guys are really happy about this result.
This is a very, very clear-cut result. Vodka and Control have the same amount of rash. The commercial topical brands, there's really nothing to speak of. I would say we can definitely call this one busted.
Absolutely. I've taken one for the team.
Just goes to show there's no I in Mythbusters. Firing guns in the air can be bad for your health, or at least that's the myth. If it's true, these cowboys should be wearing helmets, not hats, because falling bullets can kill. Adams found a way to fire bullets at their terminal velocity, the speed at which they would fall if fired straight up. Now he's planning to take a pot shot at some porkers.
Look, and they come with these handy targets.
Right on cue, the FBI arrives in the shape of Frank Doyle Jr.
Sounds good to me.
Let's go. All right.
Frank is the retired special agent who helped the Mythbusters prove that you can clean a cement truck with high explosive. But not if you want to use it again.
Well, there's your problem.
His vast crime scene experience should come in handy when the bullets start to fly.
Do you know of any actual cases where people have been killed, though?
I have heard of people being struck by falling bullets, and I can't recall whether they are killed or not.
Well, I guess that's what we're here to test.
Okay, bullets loaded in 3, 2, 1, fire.
Well, that bounced right off of him.
The high speed confirms that the bullet was traveling at about the right speed.
This bullet was traveling at 166 feet per second, just slightly over what its terminal velocity would be, slightly faster. Still didn't even really break the skin.
That would have been a real owie.
It definitely would have been nasty, but that's not a lethal hit.
So once more into the breach, this time with a larger .30 caliber round.
30-06 bullet in 3, 2, 1.
Here's where it hit, and it really definitely pierced the skin, but bounced right off.
A pig post-mortem confirms 0 skull damage.
I mean, it's like a little tiny dent.
Yeah.
One small dent in the skull, one giant ding in the myth.
I'm starting to suspect that 150 feet per second of bullet's terminal velocity just isn't fast enough to be lethal.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I mean, I've seen news footage where people have been killed by falling bullets, but our data doesn't show it.
Well, I've got a great thing here. The researchers have found us an expert. He's a doctor at Stanford University, and he is also an international expert on falling bullets. I think we should go talk to him and see if he can resolve some of our conflicting data for us.
Let's do it.
It seems almost too good to be true, but true it is. An international authority on falling bullets right on the Mythbusters' doorstep.
Hello, Dr. Muller. I'm Adam Savage.
Good to meet you. Why don't you come on back to my clinic?
All right. So, Dr. Muller, are you familiar with the myth that if you fire a bullet straight up in the air, when it comes down, it'll kill you?
I actually have right here in the Bay Area 2 unique cases, one of which involves the shooter actually having been caught.
In one case, a woman watching the 4th of July celebrations from her lawn chair was struck in the thigh by a .30 caliber bullet fired into the air over a mile away.
We did a bullet recovery from her leg, and a ballistics match was achieved, and we were able to actually prosecute and send that guy to jail. That's the only case in the world where somebody shooting into the air 4th of July, negligent celebratory gunfire, was caught.
Wow, that is a great story.
The other Bay Area case involved an elderly man from Alameda.
A gentleman who was standing under his plastic corrugated roofed carport talking to his wife. He had his eyes roll up in his head and fell to the ground, and she thought he was having a stroke. She called the paramedics. They took him to the hospital. X-rays were done, and he was found to have a bullet in his brain.
This time, the victim did not survive.
So, Doctor, based on your experience with these cases, do you think that you would call this myth true, that the bullets falling from the sky will kill you?
I know for a fact that bullets fired at a distance, returning to Earth with terminal velocity, have the ability to kill people.
It's a real conundrum. On the one hand, Dr. Muller has proof that falling bullets do kill. On the other, the Mythbusters have proof that they don't.
It definitely would have been nasty, but that's not a lethal hit.
Getting to the bottom of this one will test Adam and Jamie to the limit. It's happy hour with another vodka myth.
I got a vodka myth for you guys. Apparently, you can remove plastic bandages painlessly.
So is this vodka taken internally?
No such luck, Byron. Goes on the outside. The vodka acts as a solvent, dissolving the adhesive.
Grant puts his masculinity on the line by proffering his legs for the experiment.
That's gonna suck taking it off.
The plan is to soak one bandage in vodka. The other will be the control. Pain will be the judge.
Oh, it's cold.
Whew. Iron Man Imahara grits his teeth.
Maybe the vodka will act as a local anesthetic.
There are girls at Swiss finishing schools rougher and tougher than Grant.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to just go quick, or should we go slow?
I don't know. What is traditionally more painless? Quick, huh?
We'll do the rip.
All right, dude.
You ready?
Wait! Wait!
You gotta brace yourself?
Well, yeah.
You want a mouthpiece or something? You ready?
Okay, go for it.
Fast.
Ready? 1, 2,
3. If you wear a hearing aid, remove it now.
Oh, look, your little bald spot there.
Scale of 1 to 10. Pain on the rip off.
That was a good 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
which makes trapping your finger in your handbag a 9 or 10. But will vodka help?
Ready? Oh! Not as bad. Look, there's no hair.
So, what's the verdict?
If we had to judge from the standpoint of hair, vodka bandage definitely has less hair.
Did it feel like it dissolved the adhesive? Was it easier to pull off?
Well, it definitely wasn't painless. Oh.
Not painless, but not busted.
Scale of 1 to 10.
It's hard to tell. I would say maybe a 4.
The Mythbusters are investigating the myth that celebratory gunfire can kill when the bullets fall back to Earth. A doctor at Stanford showed Adam cases that seemed to confirm the myth. But shop tests showed bullets fall on their sides, too slow to kill. So, where next?
Dr. Muller actually came up with some pretty compelling evidence that contradicts our results.
No, he showed me x-rays of people with bullets in their head and their legs and proof that those bullets had been fired by guns during 4th of July celebrations. But here's the thing. Those bullets had been fired from guns over a mile away from where they landed. And that means they were not fired straight up in the air. They were fired at an angle, and they were maintaining their ballistic trajectory.
According to the medical evidence, the most lethal falling bullets aren't exactly falling. A bullet fired up at an angle stays spin stabilized and on a ballistic trajectory, returning to Earth point down at a high terminal velocity. But what about bullets that are fired straight up? That's the question.
Let's be clear about this. This myth is about firing a bullet straight up in the air, vertically, and then having it fall, like truly falling, straight back down. And, you know, if our shop tests are to be believed, that bullet is not going to be lethal when it comes down.
But when have we ever been satisfied with simulations? Even though it's going to be really hard, I think it's time to do this for real and go out to the desert. Then we get to see if what we find out there matches the tests we did in the shop.
Road trip.
It's sunrise on Bullets Fired Up Day, and the Mythbusters lead a convoy into the middle of the Mojave Desert. City boy Adam has come unprepared.
I don't usually associate the terms freezing cold with desert, and yet I gotta tell you, it is freezing expletive cold out here.
I want to point out that while Adam didn't associate that, I did.
Yeah, when I was in the North Africa campaign, I learned early on to wear all-weather gear for the desert.
If this isn't the middle of nowhere, you can certainly see it from here. It's the perfect location for today's experiment.
Well, the desert suits our purposes in this myth in that it's completely desolate. We've got like 2.5 miles around us in every direction of empty, perfectly flat lake bed. It's the ideal location to find a bullet if one can be found.
To improve the odds, Adam and Jamie have borrowed several pairs of eyes and ears. Their crew will be stationed in a ring of bulletproof listening posts around the firearm.
Okay.
Jamie has turned a tripod into a straight-up 90-degree gun-holding, bullet-firing rig.
That's pretty good. That's pretty much 90-90.
And finally, with bullets flying everywhere, they're joined by armorer Torrance Hall.
We're not hoping for fantastic odds, but all we really need to do is find a single bullet, and we're going to know a lot about what's going on here.
The wind will be the crucial factor. It's calm at ground level, but with the .30 caliber bullets likely to reach altitudes of 10,000 feet, they decide to test what's going on higher up.
For science!
Oh. It's going that way.
You're a budding meteorologist, Jim.
And our weatherman couldn't be happier.
The rigs are all set. We just need to put everybody in their place in their safety positions under these panels and fire off a bunch of bullets.
Before they start firing straight up, they need to fire straight down to see how deep into the lake bed various bullets go.
Now, this isn't an absolute test. This is a relative test that will give us a comparison point between the bullet right at its muzzle velocity into the ground as compared to a falling bullet.
First, a BB gun, which in rare cases can be lethal, but will usually just pierce the skin.
Okay.
Next, the 9mm pistol.
And 3, 2, 1.
And finally, the 30-06.
1.
So, how deep did the bullets go? First, the BB.
It's about 3 inches.
Next, the 9mm.
That one's about 5 or 6 inches.
And finally, the 30 caliber.
Wow.
So that's about a foot.
By using the desert floor as a surrogate ballistics material, they now have a yardstick for measuring the lethality of falling bullets. If they can find any, that is.
Okay, everybody, get in your places.
Okay, 8 rounds. 8 rounds, everybody.
All right, firing in 3, 2, 1.
One clip on its way up.
Ears out.
And 39 seconds later, touchdown.
1. 2.
Hit.
You heard one that way, Jamie?
Yeah, I heard like 2 or 3 out there.
Now, all they have to do is find them.
So you guys heard several out this way. We heard a couple out this way. Why don't you take your camera crew that way? We'll take our camera crew this way.
So that makes a half a lake bed each. This could be harder than they thought.
I'm searching across the desert for a pencil-sized hole.
Time for another shot of vodka.
The myth is that you can make an ice pack from vodka and water. What I'm gonna do is try that. You take a half a cup of vodka and a half a cup of water. I guess they think I get hurt a lot, so it'd be a good idea for me to make this. If it doesn't work, well, I could always drink it and I won't feel the pain anymore.
Vodka freezes at a lower temperature than water. According to the myth, that's the key to making an ice pack that can be wrapped around an injured limb.
It's good.
Water freezes at 32 degrees, vodka at 16. Mix them together and you get a colder than ice pack that's still malleable. Or that's the myth.
And that's that. All right, so the vodka ice pack has been in the freezer overnight. I'm gonna pull it out and see what it looks like. Hey, look at that. It actually works.
The vodka has prevented the water from freezing solid, leaving a cold but flexible ice pack.
You know what? This could actually work as an ice pack. It's pretty cool. One thing I'm noticing, though, it's melting faster than I think the commercial ones are.
To properly test the myth, Tori wants to monitor the performance of the vodka ice pack against a commercial one.
So I have 2 thermometers, and they're both calibrated the same. I'm just going to wrap the ice pack around them. I will leave it here for 20 minutes because that is the suggested icing time. Otherwise, if you go too long, the person might get frostbite. All right, and here we go. Vodka pack is 17.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's just 1 degree above vodka's freezing point and 15 degrees below the freezing point of water.
The commercial ice pack is 14.5 degrees Fahrenheit at its start.
Over the first 10 minutes, the commercial ice pack stays coldest by several degrees. But at the quarter-hour mark, the vodka's made up ground. And when they cross the line, it's a photo finish.
The vodka ice pack is now at 19.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
With just 1 degree of separation.
And the commercial ice pack has warmed up to 18.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Overall, your commercial ice pack performed better than the vodka ice pack. But I mean, in a pinch, a vodka ice pack, I think it would work really well. I'm pretty surprised how well it performed. So, you know, vodka ice pack confirmed. Once you're done, you have a vodka slushie that you can drink.
Back in the Mojave Desert, the Mythbusters have fired a 9mm clip straight up in the air, and they're scouring several square miles of lake bed for the fallen bullets. They've been here before. In an earlier episode, Adam and Jamie successfully fired off a Civil War rocket. Almost as spectacular was the fact that they found the spent missile deep in the desert floor, almost 1,000 yards downrange. The rocket was 2 feet long and weighed 20 pounds. So what chance of finding a tiny bullet? It's a tall order, made even taller by the holes which pockmark the desert floor. Bullet-sized holes.
Even though it looks disturbed, it's not actually a hit.
This could take a month of Sundays, and they've only got until sundown. With the fat lady warming up, Adam spots something.
Hey, I found one! I got broken salt crust. You know, the other thing I notice is the hole is oblong, not perfectly round.
It hit sideways.
It means it was falling sideways or tumbling when it fell.
Early indications are that it would not have been a lethal hit.
All right.
For confirmation, Adam measures how deep it went.
Not that far at all.
Remember, a BB went 3 inches.
That's 2 inches exactly.
That means it probably wouldn't even pierce your skin. It's another nail in this myth's coffin.
There she blows. That's a 9mm round. Woo! We found it!
Using GPS, Torrance pinpoints how far away from the gun the bullet hit.
Looks like about 330 feet.
And it was fired straight up.
That was fired dead straight up, 330 feet off.
It just shows you what the wind does.
That's amazing.
While the others continue searching, Adam does some crowing.
Not only did I find the hole, but the bullet supports in its position that it landed in all of our experimental data so far, so it could not be a better result, and it's not even lunchtime.
And with other bullets out here somewhere, they now know exactly what they're looking for.
There's a crapload of bullet hole-shaped holes around here, so it was hard to know what to look for, but it pretty much matched exactly what one would think. It was a nice,
Adam.
clean black hole.
Adam!
What?
Adam, check it out.
You got another one?
Yup.
Dude!
Same depth.
Same depth? And it's an oblong hole. Oh my God. Can we just go home? This is fantastic.
Both bullets were found on their sides, 2 inches down, confirming their shop test results.
Nothing could be sweeter. This is science in action.
One for the road, a final vodka myth.
What's going on? You got vodka, I see water filters. What are you making, Grant?
Well, the myth is you can turn low-end vodka into top-shelf vodka with 6 filtrations of a domestic charcoal water filter. Here we go.
Dude, if this works out, you might be able to start a little company of vodka producing.
Huh? Grant Vodka.
Grant Vodka. I'd buy it.
Sweet.
So, is the only difference between a top-shelf vodka and a bottle of rot gut really just filtration? To find out, they're planning a taste test and some laboratory analysis.
Okay, here's the 6th and final filtration.
Now for a double-blind test, and Grant's assembled a panel of top-shelf tasters. Expert number 1, Anthony Dias Blue, Executive Director, San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
The characteristics of a good vodka are clarity, purity, and texture.
Expert number 2, Jamie Heineman, degree in Russian literature. Expert number 3, Carrie Byron, former undercover martini tester. The rules are simple. Each judge gets 8 shots of vodka, 1 from each of the 6 filtration stages, and an expensive top-shelf brand. The cheap, unfiltered vodka will be the control. Their task is to rate them from worst to best.
Anthony Dice Blue, are you ready?
I'm ready.
These samples have been prepared and randomized. Even I won't know which is which until the very end.
Anthony's reputation as a professional taster is at stake, and he's got to be on top of his game.
It tasted like gasoline. It was kind of hot and, whoa. That one's pretty nice.
8 straight vodkas later, and not surprisingly, Anthony's brimming with confidence.
Anthony Dice Blue, is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
Jamie Heineman, you may begin.
All right.
Tasting a spirit that's produced to be odorless and flavorless is a tall order. Just the way Jamie likes it.
Okay, well, I guess it's time to start tasting.
He's nothing if not methodical. Just before the other judges lose their will to live, Jamie makes his final lineup.
Are you happy with your selections, Jamie?
Yes.
I'm wondering if you might have contaminated your experiment by mixing on the mustache.
Either that or they're actually very sensitive and able to pick up on subtle variations in the chemistry in the vodka.
Aha! Touché!
Carrie Byron, are you ready?
To drink at work? Sure.
If the myth is true, there should be no discernible difference between the top shelf brand and the fully filtered rot gut.
I think I could go with this.
Okay, you're sure about this?
No, not at all, but I'm going with it.
All right.
So, what are the results?
Carrie's worst.
What's the top shelf?
Third filtration.
Not the best of starts.
Carrie's second worst. The top shelf.
And she flunks out in 2.
Third to best?
The control.
I guess I'm a cheap date.
Now we know what Carrie likes.
With cheap and cheerful Carrie eliminated, it's over to the Mythbuster with the mustache.
Mr. Heineman, are you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Here I go. Jamie's second worst. The control.
It's not bad.
That's very good.
Well done. Second best is fifth filtration, leaving the top shelf.
You did really good.
I guess I did good.
Cool.
Jamie pretty much nailed it. So finally, it's over to the pro.
Anthony's worst, the control. Lower shelf vodka.
Yeah.
Perfect guess.
Second best, spot on.
6th round filtration,
And first place,
the top shelf vodka.
You did good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Not bad.
in fact, Anthony called it exactly right.
Well, congratulations, Anthony. Looks like we got the right man for the job. Your reputation is intact.
Well, I'm relieved. I mean, as you say, I can keep my job now.
So, how about the myth? Still standing or slumped over the bar?
Passing a low-end vodka through a filter will make it better, but it won't make it a top-shelf vodka.
Let's give the last word to science. Can filtration turn a cheap and cheerful vodka into a top-shelf drop? Dr. Byron has the laboratory data.
So, doctor, were you able to turn cheap vodka into good vodka by filtering it?
Well, actually, I just got the lab results, and the gas chromatograph showed that there are really absolutely no difference in chemical composition between the filtered vodka and the low-end non-filtered control vodka.
So it's probably cheaper just to buy the good vodka than actually going and get water filters and filtering the crap vodka.
Yeah, so I'm calling this busted.
Good job, doctor.
All right, firing in 3, 2, 1.
Back in the Mojave Desert, the Mythbusters have been firing 9mm bullets straight up in the air to see if they're lethal when they fall back to Earth. Both the bullets they've found fell sideways at a non-lethal velocity, confirming Adam's wind tunnel shock tests. Now it's time for the .30-06 assault rifle.
The .30-06 may be another kettle of fish because this fires a bullet about 2.5 times as far. Even with a 9mm, it was going 300 feet away. So, you know, we could have this one be, you know, for all I know, a mile away by the time it gets all the way up there and back down.
Okay, we're set?
I'm ready.
Okay, safety's going off. Weapon is hot.
They fire off 8 rounds, but nobody hears anything land.
Ears off.
Did anybody hear anything?
No.
To counter the wind, they tilt the gun at a slight angle and try again. "40 rounds later, and they're still drawing a blank.
All right, did anybody hear anything?
Nope.
Damn it.
With no clues as to the landing spot, the search proves fruitless.
Adam, have you had any luck finding 30-06?
No. I think we got super crazy lucky on the 9mm. The clustering was incredible, and the crew has just been astounding. But the 30-06 is flying more than twice as high, almost 10,000 feet in the air before it comes down.
It's like it's in the jet stream and it's headed for the Pacific Ocean or something.
In the absence of a .30 caliber bullet, this myth has an annoying loose end. Luckily, Adam has a plan B. It's all about beating the wind. He's built a rig that will simulate bullets falling at their terminal velocity after being fired straight up. A remote-controlled device will drop the bullets from a balloon flying at 400 feet.
How do I know that if I drop my bullets from my balloon at 400 feet that they'll be falling at their terminal velocity? It's really simple math. Gravity pulls everything towards the Earth at an increasing rate of 32 feet per second per second. That means that every second an object falls, it's increasing in its speed by 32 feet every second.
From 400 feet, they'll hit their maximum speed of 150 feet per second just before they hit the ground. And this time, the guys will know exactly where they've landed.
All right, I think this is pretty good. Yeah, the altimeter says we're at a beautiful height, about 140 meters, which is just about 400 feet.
Okay, well, the EMTs are standing by in case we get hurt.
All right, everyone's got their hard hats on?
All right.
Give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, they dropped beautifully. That was perfect.
All right.
All right, I'm going to power down the camera here.
Okay.
Oh, that was excellent.
Okay. To match the shop tests, the .30 caliber bullets should match the profile of the 9mm. In other words, they should be found on their sides, 2 inches down.
That looks like a 30-06 hole.
There's some over
Look
there.
at that, we got them all. All right, 30-06 at terminal velocity. About 2 inches.
Okay.
It doesn't get better than that. Let's find some more. Oh, here's a 9mm. This is the real test. Since we found 9mm bullets falling from their absolute height, if this matches, this rig is perfectly calibrated.
There you go.
Dude!
It's the terminal piece of the falling bullet puzzle.
We can confirm that vertically in the air, neither a 9mm nor a 30-06 is coming to the Earth with a lethal velocity.
Couldn't be any clearer than that.
No.
I mean, we've covered it with a real gun. We've covered it with our artificial test here with the drop.
We covered it with the wind tunnel tests. We covered it with the pigs' heads. I think we got this one down. So where does this myth leave us? Busted, plausible, or confirmed?
All of the above.
I don't think we've ever done that before. Explain.
Well, all of our tests showed that a bullet fired straight up in the air, dead straight, is not going to come down with lethal force.
Right, but we've also seen that it's very difficult and unnatural to hold a gun perfectly vertically, and that if you're off by even a few degrees, that bullet can maintain its ballistic trajectory and come back to Earth with potentially lethal force. We've got a doctor who's seen the deaths, he's looked at a bunch of the cases, and, you know, those prove that it's confirmed.
Yeah, so it's all of the above. And in any case, you should never, ever fire a weapon straight up in the air.
No, it's stupid. And it's illegal almost everywhere.
Could be lethal.
Let's go home.
Okay.